Good evening. Glad that you are watching your channel of choice on TV47 News Tonight. Tonight, President Kenyatta finally congratulates President-elect William Ruto a day to his swearing-in.
My entire family and I join all Kenyans in wishing the very best to our next president, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, and extending to him our warmest congratulations for receiving the mandate of Kenyans to lead us as our fifth president.
The outgoing president has outlined his achievements. Also tonight, all set for Ruto Gachagua swearing-in ceremony at the Kasarani Stadium.
We are expecting 60,000 people here. The 60,000 people require no invitation cards. It's open to the public. However, at the main dais, like I said, we have 2,500 slots that we will be inviting the VIPs. Like I said again, we are expecting a lot of VVIPs.
At least 60,000 Kenyans are expected at the stadium. Plus, from a chicken seller to a president.
William Ruto coming on Tuesday to the political scene, the presidency. You know the barriers that were put before him. How he surmounted that, I think there is a hand of God. Tonight we tell you the story of this man, William Ruto, and another case of death in Saudi Arabia.
Tena akapiga simu tena agent akasema kwamba basi dada yetu amefariki. Ndiyo dada yetu amefariki, sasa tutampata vipi? Hakuna mwelekeo wowote tangu wakati huo mpaka sahi.
A family in Kilifi is crying for justice after their kin died mysteriously in Saudi Arabia. And Wairimu is our sign language interpreter. Good evening, I'm Abubakar Abdullahi. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, Tuesday by 2 p.m., the country will have a new leader, William Ruto, who will be Kenya's fifth president. And on that note, it will mark the end of an era, the reign of President Uhuru Kenyatta, which runs from 2013 to 2022. Our very own Moiga William takes a look at the hits and misses of the Uhuru-led administration that has been praised and equally criticized.
As he hands power to the incoming president William Samoei Ruto, outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta will be remembered for a number of things during his 10 years reign, both positive and negative. Given credit to his administration is the heavy investment in the infrastructure by the Uhuru-led regime. According to government data, between 2013 and 2022, his government has spent close to 1.4 trillion shillings on construction and maintenance of roads, constructing a total of 11,000 kilometers of new highways. Uhuru's administration spent 490 billion shillings on its first term and 951 billion shillings in the second and last term.
My administration has upgraded Kenya's infrastructure in terms of roads, ports, bridges, fiber optics, power generation and transmission. And as a result, Kenya now stands out as an investment destination of choice and a continental as well as a global hub.
Other projects include a Chinese-built standard gauge railway linking the capital with Mombasa and 2,000 new dams. Electricity access has seen impressive gains. When Kenyatta came to office, only 30% of Kenyans had access to electricity. Today, 3/4 of the population is connected.
I have been guided by the dream of our forefathers, and that is the dream to eliminate poverty, ignorance, and disease, and to improve the quality of life of all Kenyans, and to create conditions for everyone to achieve their dreams.
Also, Kenyatta's government in November 2013 introduced Huduma centers, with 40 centers currently spread across the country, and the eCitizen online platform in a bid to ensure fast access to government services, and shifted the country to digital television and radio. This pushed the number of TV stations in the country to 130 from 14 in 2013. Radio stations increased to 204 from 130.
These figures do not factor the massive expansion in the digital space that has seen many hundreds of thousands of Kenyans successfully monetize various digital communication avenues.
When the Uhuru regime came to power in 2013, health insurance coverage was at 14%, which rose slightly to 16.5%. According to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics (KNBS), the number of people registered under the National Health Insurance Fund (NHIF) grew by 53.3%. Land matters, that is the insurance of title deed, is an issue that the Uhuru administration worked on, with the titling program launched in 2013, enabling millions of Kenyans to access the ownership document. Earlier, the Cabinet Secretary for Lands, Farida Karunei, states that his boss administration had done 6.1 million titles in a span of 9 years. The ministry is also in the process of putting up a digital platform that is said to curb corruption cases in land matters. Kenyatta also deserves credit for his regional diplomacy, which has seen him mediate disputes in South Sudan, Ethiopia, and most recently between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Under his watch, Kenya has grown as an economic, political, and diplomatic powerhouse, and a calm and stable East Africa is important to Kenya's economic success.
We are the biggest economy in the East African region, and that has been largely due to the good work that has been done by the outgoing government.
In Uhuru's reign, national debt jumped from 8.56 trillion shillings as of May 2022 from 1.89 trillion shilling in June 2013, according to data from the National Treasury. In the 2022-2023 financial year, the government has allocated 1.39 trillion shillings towards debt repayment, comprising 690.64 billion shillings as interest payments and 702.46 billion shillings as redemptions.
Actually, we reached a level where we had a budget which was free of borrowing. It was an independent budget. And to date, I think the cost of inflation that we're having today and the budget that we are talking about is not an independent budget per se.
Cost of living, as many Kenyans will be heard lamenting, with inflation rising to 7.9% in June 2022 from the 5.7% in December 2012.
And the cost of living is really wanton, which I think is one of the clarion call why the hustler narrative actually took effect, because citizens were looking for economic friendly environment that is citizen friendly. But as it stands right now, the higher cost of inflation actually is linked to high taxation, high borrowing.
With hue and cry from Kenyans, on July 20th, President Kenyatta announced the 5th stimulus package of his regime, focusing on food subsidy to cushion households from hunger. In particular, the president sought to address the hunger crisis that had seen the price of 2-kilogram packet of maize flour reach 205 shillings from 100 shillings. He termed it an engineered crisis that repeats itself just every election year and ordered price control through a government subsidy. It is during the Uhuru administration that taxpayers' money has been lost in billions of shillings in mega corruption scandals, including the National Youth Service 1 and 2, KEMSA scandal, Aror and Kimorer Dam, the Galana Kulalu irrigation scheme scandal, among others. The head of state himself admitted that the country loses 2 billion to corruption daily.
For us, where we stand has been his rather lackadaisical approach or commitment towards the fight against corruption, which has basically meant that a lot of public resources have been wasted in the also, of course, the many projects that we have faced. So there's been a lot of loss of public resources.
Senior state officials, including cabinet and principal secretaries, were sent home on corruption charges, while others battling court cases. From 2013 to 2022, it is the end of an era of the reign of President Uhuru Kenyatta, and now his deputy William Samoei Ruto takes over as the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya. Mwege William, TV47, Nairobi.
And indeed, the end of an era for Kenyatta II. Now, outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta has finally congratulated President-elect William Ruto. Kenyatta made his last speech from State House today ahead of tomorrow's inauguration after meeting Ruto. Chichi Josephine reports.
Days after his win and the Supreme Court upheld his win, President-elect William Ruto met his boss and the outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta in State House, Nairobi, alongside their wives Margaret Kenyatta and Rachel Ruto. That meeting being the first since the August 9th polls, in which Kenyatta was supporting Ruto's main challenger Raila Odinga. And after the meeting, Kenyatta finally congratulated President-elect William Ruto for the first time, at least in public.
My entire family and I join all Kenyans in wishing the very best to our next president, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, and extending to him our warmest congratulations for receiving the mandate of Kenyans to lead us as our 5th president.
In his speech, Kenyatta affirmed that he was ready to hand over the presidency to Ruto as mandated by the Constitution. Kenyatta saying he will emulate the honored tradition and hand over the mantle to his successor William Ruto. Kenyatta ending speculation of whether he will attend the event at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani.
Will tomorrow, before God and you, my fellow countrymen, hand over the instruments of power to our new president at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. And with that, the 4th administration will come to an end and the tenure of the 5th administration will begin.
The outgoing president further took the opportunity to remind Ruto to endeavor to serve all Kenyans and that he will be a leader to all Kenyans, irrespective of whether they voted for him or not.
And so, Mr. President-elect, as you walk the path to your inauguration and beyond, you will be the president, not just for those who voted for you, but for all Kenyans. In the prophetic words of our national anthem, we are summoned to purposefully dwell in unity, peace, and liberty, working hard and together so that plenty may be found within our borders. I therefore wish and pray for your success, as your success will be Kenya's success.
The swearing-in is expected to start at 10 a.m. and end by 2 p.m. Titi Josephine, TV47.
Now, preparations for the government transition ceremony set for Tuesday have been completed in Kasarani Stadium. More than 60,000 people are expected to be seated by 8 a.m. in the morning. This as ODM boss Raila Odinga says he will not be available for Ruto's inauguration tomorrow. Mike Agongo has the details.
A day before the swearing-in ceremony of President-elect William Ruto, the preparation for the government transition event have been completed in Kasarani Main Square, here in Nairobi. Beautiful seats set for invited guests who are supposed to be seated by 9 a.m. have been arranged in order. The section where President-elect William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua will be sworn in, carved by officers of the judiciary. The Chief of Defense Forces, General Robert Kibochi, making sure everything has been completed and put in place before tomorrow in an effort to ensure smooth operation. According to the Transitional Committee, a total of 20,000 people have been allocated to a special section outside the Kasarani field if the field will be flooded.
We have some space in the arena which will accommodate overflow of 20,000, but we encourage that beyond those, the others, this will be streamed live in all our stations. We encourage those ones who will not be able to make it here to also take advantage of watching it from the comfort of their sitting rooms.
Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Interior in coordination of the National Government, Karanja Kibicho, says the gates of the Kasarani Stadium will be opened from 4 a.m., while a total of 60,000 Kenyans are expected to be seated by 8 a.m.
As you are aware, the swearing of the president must take place between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So we expect that the program starts at 10:30. There will be a bit of military action, there will be a bit of judiciary action, and there will be a bit of after judiciary action, which must happen before 2 p.m. Then the rest can go on beyond 2 p.m. So we expect by 2 everyone will be out of here.
In Nandi County, residents have also vowed not to miss the much-anticipated event in Kasarani, traveling in big numbers to witness Ruto's inauguration. With them is this important plant, which they anticipate to gift President-elect William Ruto after his inauguration.
Yenye iko hapa ndani, tunaomba kesho. Hapa hiyo imebarikiwa na wase, tunaomba kesho. Tukipata nafasi tu, Ruto naye tumbalishe, ili aonyeshe ile umoja wetu yenye natoka Nandi na tunamsupport as a nation.
This is what we call mosaic. Mosaic, you use the locally available materials. Hapa nimetumia cereals kama wimbi. Tuko na wimbi aina mbili. Tuko na wimbi nyeusi na wimbi brown. Maharakwe, hii ya yellow hii nimetumia kwa maandishi ni maharakwe.
In Kalenjin community, winners are gallanted with special plant around their neck known as sinendet and fed with fermented milk known as mursiko nagad as a show of victory. The plant is significant in all the celebrations, for instance weddings, negotiation for payment of bride price, rite of passage as well as elections. A total of 20 presidents and leaders of different governments in Africa and beyond have confirmed to attend the event. After the president-elect is sworn in, he will be the 5th president of this country and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. A special tent has been set outside this stadium to accommodate more than 20,000 Kenyans that will not find a place to sit after this stadium gets full of 60,000 Kenyans, as more than 6 songs will be sung by different musicians from across the country and the neighboring country, Tanzania. Mike Kagwango, TV47 from Kasarani Stadium in Nairobi County.
Thank you, Mike Kagwango, for that report. Now, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya party leader Raila Odinga now says he will not attend the inauguration of President-elect William Ruto tomorrow. Raila confirmed to have received an invite for the event at the Kasarani Stadium, but says he will not be available. The ODM boss says he still believes the election was flawed. In a statement to newsrooms this evening, Odinga says he has received a call from President-elect William Ruto inviting him for the inauguration ceremony. Odinga tonight insisting that the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission did not conduct a free and fair election. Now, President-elect William Ruto will on Tuesday take over the reins of power from his predecessor, outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta. Ruto, who against all odds won a closely fought election that nearly turned into a crisis, surmounted a huge obstacle to become the country's 5th president. Our senior political affairs reporter Apollo Kamau takes a look at the man of the moment as told by his close political allies.
From a young Turk in the independence ruling party KANU to a cabinet minister and a deputy president who was in sync with his boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta, in the early days of the Jubilee administration. The self-christened chicken seller from Sugoi's rise to the country's most powerful seat has not been a walk in the park, starting with the international criminal cases of the Hague, Netherlands, over the 2007-2008 poll violence that nearly scattered his political ambitions, and outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta's final term in office, where he faced tribulations on his presidential quest. His allies, some of who have had to pay the price for backing his presidential bid, narrate the ordeals he underwent in his journey to the top up to the last minute, claiming there was a plot by President Uhuru Kenyatta, aided by state machinery, to block his announcement as president-elect by IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati at the Bomas of Kenya on the 15th of August, when chaos rocked the venue.
Our lowest moment was at Bomas of Kenya, because you've gone through all these humiliations, yeah? You have won, the vote, courtesy of the people of Kenya. And then, the person you helped most to build his entire political career, without whom he would never have been president, wants now to use state apparatus to forcefully change results. I think that was the lowest. It was the lowest, but at the end, okay? So the impact may not have been felt much because it didn't succeed. That was an attempted coup. Actually, it's treason, yeah? Coup may not be the right words because coup is for a sitting president, but it's treason. It was an attempt to subvert the will of the people. And I think we were this close to a crisis in this country. This close, because the plan was to frustrate the announcement of results. If you cannot change the results, frustrate the announcement of results. There are a lot of attempts. There was attempts of arrest of Chebukati, shooting of people, violence in the place. Those stories will come out because those are things I heard when we were in Bomas all through. You saw the senior security people were sent to Bomas. And then they were told William Ruto is not an option. I feel that was really the lowest, but the shortest stint, because the patriots, the heroes, Chebukati, Professor Gulie, and Molu saved the situation. If they didn't do so, we could be today speaking of a different Kenya.
According to Elgeyo Marakwet Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, a trusted ally of the son of Sugoi, investigations on the Bomas chaos are likely to commence after the president-elect is sworn into office. Security officers will also be in the spotlight on an incident that happened on the 14th of August that Murkomen says was part of the plot to ensure Ruto does not become president by abducting his allies.
I can tell you, our agents had been arrested by anti-terrorism unit. Our laptops have been confiscated. Chirchir was almost arrested by the same people, anti-terrorism unit. Kindiki was almost abducted from our party headquarters here by previous day with 3 Subaru cars that came here from the DCI, and I'm the one who took the pictures of the vehicles and I shared on my social media. So, and that's how they ran away, they drove off. The point I'm trying to make is that there was a lot of scheme that I hope the investigative agencies will do something about it to subvert the will of the people. And Bomas would have been our Waterloo as a country.
The role of security personnel to intimidate and expose Ruto goes back to 2019 during the Lamada assassination plot allegations that caused tension in the government. The withdrawal of the General Service Unit guarding his official current residence in August 2021, replaced by administration police, was yet another sign of a man under siege in the very government he played a role to form.
It is true there were plans to assassinate maybe one or two, so that one will either teach the others a lesson or cause sufficient fear to leave this agenda, to get away from William Ruto. And I can tell Kenyans that this information was given to us by people serving in the security system that were put together to execute those plans or implement those plans. And they felt uncomfortable to do that. You remember the Ramanda also. That was about William Ruto. Maybe if we use that, we could say there was also insecurity and things being planned. You know, because it's easy to plan to clear your deputy. When this failed, the team that had been put together was actually quickly, because they learned that there was a leakage. So they, dismantled that team.
His allies also point out at the murder of Sergeant Kipyegon Kenei, based at his office. The death of Sergeant Kenei became a political issue, despite the murder remaining unresolved to date.
The DCI Kinoti was working very hard to link the Deputy President with the murder of Kenei. When the story will be written, you will know how the DCI used money to pick some family members to speak as though they wanted to attack the Deputy President, because they were looking for ways to try to muddy the waters and to make sure that you link it to the Deputy President. The Aurora and Kimwarer, a lot of work was done. One of the public officers was asked to record a statement and say the Deputy President is the one who called me to say we pay this Kimwarer money so that we can use it to impeach the Deputy President. In fact, you remember how Munya walked from that place and insulted the Deputy President.
The intimidation culture, according to his insiders, spread its tentacles to his allies, who claimed there was a plot to assassinate them and their bodyguards.
The next thing they started thinking about is possibly to eliminate or kill. I think they were saying they would kill. Eliminate some of our either security men or personnel, so that, you see, if your security guard is shot and you are together, obviously, and they are armed, then obviously you are completely insecure, you are completely vulnerable. That also leaked, and they then ran away from it. Obviously, like me, I've never told my security that was a plan, but I came to know about it, but I didn't tell them. Soon thereafter, for them to be able to do these plans, they removed several of our security men from different members. I mean, we were left without security. Like, I went for maybe 6 to 7 months without security. And when I engaged the IG, twice I tried to engage the IG, walking to his office, twice, leaving message. He never called me back. He never even, I don't know whether he got the message. I would expect that he has a functional office, but when you visit the office and leave a message in writing to his secretary, then he will obviously, and you even sign your name and your contact, you expect that, and you say reason. You'd expect that an inspector of police, inspector general, will respond to a member of parliament, because we are the ones who give them jobs in parliament, actually.
The Mount Kenya region, a key battleground between Kenyatta and Ruto during the August 9 campaigns, was so ferocious that key meetings were either disrupted, like the Keno Church chaos that left 2 people dead in Alice Wahome's Kandara constituency.
When again I was hosting him, and I'm talking about this because they are personal experiences, because I knew I was a target, so that I don't get re-elected. I was hosting him in one of my schools, Kenyoho Secondary School. Again, my governor working still with the system, with the authority of the system, with the security that you know you have. You have a commander of police in your county, and they know the deputy president is coming, and my governor, former governor, is there coming to disrupt openly a school function where we are releasing a bus to a secondary school, girls' secondary school. It was nasty, it was ugly. I held my calm.
A close ally of the Deputy President, Marsabit County Governor Mahmoud Mohamed, says he's a victim of state machinery that destabilized his first term in office, that made his county ungovernable due to insecurity that left scores dead.
We lost too many lives, in my county, unnecessarily, because of don't care attitude, right, from the system. To be treated that way is a serious betrayal. It's very unfortunate. Of course, personally, I came back or defended my seat on UDM ticket. I didn't mean to leave my friend. The system employed some tactics. The current CS Treasury was positioned to be the leader of Northern Kenya, which he is not in real sense. The real leaders were left out. State machinery was used to plan a political outfit for him in the name of Upia. They hoodwinked Kenyans to make it believe like all Northern Kenya leaders and everybody else were going to be on that party. We had to stand up and say no.
The heat turned on by the state during Kenyatta's second term on his deputy became unbearable for Ruto, who is said to have told his allies to switch sides for their own safety.
I remember at some point he would call some of us, myself, Mheshimiwa Kimani Ichung'wah, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. And I remember one time when the state was really hard on His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, the president called him and he was actually giving him choices. That I know you are my friend. If you decide to waver, please, I will never take it against you. If these guys are too hard on you, Mheshimiwa, you have options. Please, you have a family to check on, you have relatives, you have friends. And I see these guys are really coming for you. Fortunately, God had given us very good friends. Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua recent, na akamwambia wewe ni rafiki yangu. Whatever thing they are going to do to us, we are prepared for it.
This journey has not been easy. It has been a journey full of ups and downs. It has been a very bumpy ride. And bumpy because those who were our friends turned against us. When President Uhuru Kenyatta exercised his democratic right to support Raila Odinga, we had no problem at all with that. But we did not know that he would use state power to try and intimidate and force people to support Raila Odinga.
Ruto's march to State House, according to his allies, turned into a humiliating one in the cabinet, where the president gave him a cold shoulder as cabinet secretaries insulted him.
There was a text message from Matiang'i once that called the deputy president an idiot. And he just relaxed. He didn't say a thing. You saw tweets, including the one for P.S. Jerome insulting the deputy president on Twitter and all that kind of thing. And what is funny is that it was normalized. Church leaders, civil society, human rights organizations felt like if it was William Ruto and it was us, it was okay. It was normal, It was normal. I don't mind those we were doing outright political leadership, but I'm speaking about public servants who are appointed, you know, in state office, and they were taking time to insult him.
In 2020, the relationship between Kenyatta and his deputies sacked to an all-time low after Ruto was blocked from his official residence in Mombasa and forced to look for accommodation in a hotel.
The outgoing president is petty, yeah. The incoming president is self-assured, yeah. He looks at the big things. In fact, I dare say it was the incoming president who made Uhuru Kenyatta look like a president in the first term. And is in the absence of William Ruto in the second term, you know, Uhuru Kenyatta became completely exposed.
Despite his tribulations, much the disappointment of President Uhuru Kenyatta, Ruto's hustler narrative framed against the dynasties helped him transcend the tribal card in the Mount Kenya region, especially where President Uhuru Kenyatta's campaign for Odinga failed to click in what allies attribute to betrayal. How the president-elect withstood a state onslaught for 5 years and win an election has not only surprised friends and foes, but has turned him into a hero among his supporters.
One of the things you have to admire from William Ruto, our president, is something called emotional intelligence. You know, out of the many things we went through, harassment from the regime, mistreatment from his boss, you'd rarely see him losing his cool.
He has the ability to block his mind from negative energy. And William Ruto, when he sets his goals on doing something, he will do it. No matter how many times he went through so many things, the humiliations that you saw in Bomas, the Askaris being removed from his office, the attempts to try to link him to certain crimes and all that. Even there was a time they wanted to charge him. You know, all those kind of things. William Ruto in the evening, when it's time to go and sleep, he goes and sleeps.
Critics of Kenya's fifth president, who takes over power at 55 years, compared to Kenyatta, who took over at 51 in 2013, see a reincarnation of his political mentor, former President Daniel Moi, who made Kenya a one-party state and punished his political enemies, something Ruto's allies are quick to dismiss.
I know people have been scared and wondering. You remember this question of in whose hands shall we be safe? I think they saw him as a strict person. People are scared that he will turn this country into a one-man show. And others were scared about ability to deal with the question of corruption. The question of corruption started in 1963. And the foundation of this nation, the Kenyatta founding father and the Kenyatta family, the Odinga family, and all these people, you know, the post-independence founders have a lot to do, especially with the land question. And if we are going to answer some of those questions, we must, you know, it is about speaking and allowing an open and candid discussion, possibly including opening up some of the reports that are there.
A self-made politician who has mentored young politicians, especially in his UDA party, the president-elect carries the burden of millions of hustlers, pegging their hopes on his bottom-up economic model to address unemployment, a debt-ridden economy, and litany of lofty promises to women and youth, whose eyes are set on the hustler fund to lift their lives.
This is a self-made leader. He possesses very admirable leadership qualities. He has a lot of ideas for the country, especially the poor, the less advantaged members of the society, because he knows that is where he began. I have a lot of expectations from our president-elect.
The victory of William Ruto is the victory to millions of hustlers. people whose fathers had nothing. They would walk in the streets barefoot. They would walk to school, get chased home for school fees, lack food, go without meals for some time. And still, they worked hard. So which is a message to all Kenyans and the people all over the world that never, ever, ever give up. Always pursue your dreams, and your dreams will be valid.
It will be a tough balancing act for the president-elect to accommodate his allies and a host of technocrats eyeing state jobs, starting with a cabinet that will make his presidency a make-or-break moment for 50 million Kenyans. Apul Kamau, TV47.
You are watching TV47, the home of... Disability is not only limited to physical disorder, but also mental issue. From depression.
I was under depression for like 2 years.
Bipolar.
Bipolar disorder is a mood disorder.
And even suicidal thoughts.
When I was just about to hang myself, a certain voice just talked to me, and I believe that was God. I tried suicide more than 6 times.
Beyond the Limit has gone beyond its limit to find answers so as to help everyone go through life with ease. Join Muthoni Maina every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Starting this September at 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday, The Realtor brings it all to perspective. We identify a property, discuss and demonstrate the journey towards ownership.
Professionals who have integrity, and from their catalog you can easily read that these are professionals who are able to deliver.
Everywhere you go, you have to up your games, you have to go with the trends.
Not forgetting the margins as well as the risks that come along.
The runaway prices of the land. We are saying that it's something that we can never go without mentioning. Any developer will not go without mentioning the price of land.
Don't miss out. Do you want the latest news on farming? We've got the WikiLeaks for you. Of Untold Stories.
The judiciary has warned Kenya of online fight against the arm of government.
A day after claims that a section of judges have resigned, the judiciary has come out guns blazing now, claiming of a targeted online war. In a statement, the judiciary says no judge of the Supreme Court has written a resignation letter, as claimed in a section of media, because there is no reason to do so. The statement says the court is working in harmony as a cohesive unit. The Martha Koome-led arm of government says there has been an unfortunate trend of isolating individual judges and attributing the judgment to them. The statement further says the court has 7 judges who are independent and highly respectful of each other as equals. The judiciary says there is a legal provision of 21 days following the reading of the short version of the judgment to do so. Kenyans urged to exercise patience as they await the full judgment, which will shed light and provide clarity on the grounds and rationale of the court. This is as the Law Society of Kenya applauded the new administration led by President-elect William Ruto, asking him to swear in the judges of the Court of Appeal who are recommended by the Judicial Service Commission in efforts to enhance convenient delivery of judicial services.
1, to appoint and swear in the judges of the Court of Appeal and the High Court who were recommended by the Judicial Service Commission.
In the fight against corruption and extrajudicial killings, the society has blamed the outgoing government for not putting efforts in the fight against corruption. Instead, the administration weaponized the fight against the vice.
Urge the incoming government that as it takes over the reins of power, it should avoid misusing the investigative agencies in a partisan war in the guise of the fight against corruption. We want a competent fight, we want a thorough fight, and we want a fight that is neutral and that no one would be above the law.
Further, LSK urged Ruto's government to give the judiciary and other commissions independence as envisaged in the Constitution.
We also ask the team to make a commitment to support and strengthen the independent constitutional commissions in the discharge of their mandate and to pledge to enforce a policy of non-interference.
Joash Onsare, TV47, Nairobi.
You are watching TV47, the home. Disability is not only limited to physical disorder, but also mental issue. From depression,
I was under depression for like 2 years.
bipolar,
Bipolar disorder is a mood disorder.
and even suicidal thoughts.
When I was just about to hang myself, a certain voice just talked to me, and I believe that was God. I tried suicide more than 6 times.
Beyond the Limit has gone beyond its limit to find answers so as to help everyone go through life with ease. Join Muthoni Maina every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Starting this September at 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday, The Realtor brings it all to perspective. We identify a property, discuss and demonstrate the journey towards ownership.
Professionals who have integrity, and from their catalog you can easily read that these are professionals who are able to deliver.
Everywhere you go, you have to up your games, you have to go with the trends.
Not forgetting the margins as well as the risks that come along.
The runaway prices of the land. We are saying that it's something that we can never go without mentioning. Any developer will not go without mentioning the price of land.
Don't miss out. Do you want the latest news on farming? We've got the WikiLeaks for you. Get it? No? Well, okay. Every week, we give you insights on different farms from crop farming to animal keeping.
They're very hardy insects, yeah? The larvae is a very hardy insect.
We look forward to having an optimum production in maybe about 5 years. Yes. Yeah.
So we plant every week and we harvest every week.
Join Violet Njoki every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. as we skooma the wiki.
It's not all the time you have to read your farm. Sometimes it's of benefits.
starting this September at 8:30 p.m.
Hi and welcome to The Grind. My name is Violet Njoki.
We continue to provide the platform that aims to inform and educate on business-related matter. We are here to ask all the relevant questions on your behalf.
When it comes to a catering business, do you need licenses?
Yeah, a lot of it. And inform you what is happening in the business arena. Be sure to stay tuned.
All week, you look forward to the weekend. And we are here to help you make the most of it. Catch me, Karen Karini, on Fridays. And with me, Muthoni Maina, on the weekend.
Disability is not only limited to physical disorder, but also mental issue. From depression,
I was under depression for like 2 years.
Bipolar.
Bipolar disorder is a mood disorder.
And even suicidal thoughts.
When I was just about to hang myself, a certain voice just talked to me, and I believe that was God. I tried suicide more than 6 times.
Beyond the Limit has gone beyond its limit to find answers so as to help everyone go through life with ease. Join Muthoni Maina every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Starting this September at 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday, the Realtor brings it all to perspective. We identify a property, discuss and demonstrate the journey towards ownership.
Professionals who have integrity, and from their catalog you can easily read that these are professionals who are able to deliver.
Everywhere you go, you have to up your games. You have to go with the trends.
Not forgetting the margins as well as the risks that come along.
The runaway prices of the land. We are saying that it's something that we can never go without mentioning. Any developer will not go without mentioning the price of land.
Don't miss out. Do you want the latest news on farming? We've got the WikiLeaks for you. Get it? No? Well, okay. Every week, we give you insights on different farms, from crop farming to animal keeping.
They're very hardy insects, yeah? The larvae is a very hardy insect.
We look forward to having an optimum production in maybe about 5 years. Yes. Yeah.
So we plant every week and we harvest every week.
Join Violet Njoki every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. as we skooma the wiki.
It's not all the time you have to read your farm. Sometimes it's of benefit.
Na nikafanikiwa kutoa ndugu yangu wote wawili vile walikuwa wawili wenye walilemewa, but kulikuwa na watu kadhaa walifaulu wakatoka. Kuna mmoja alienda kusaidia huyu ndugu yangu, sasa alienda kusaidia yule mwenye alikuwa amepoteza kwanza hewa.
Mimi nimehurumika kwa kifo ya bwanangu, imeniuma sana. Wamekuja tu kwa nyumba kunitoa kwa nyumba, bwanako mchanga imeangukia. Nikashtuka, sikuenda hiyo mara ya kwanza.
Tunaomba rais mtarajiwa ama yule ametangazwa tuangalie, vijana wengi wanasumbuka area hii. Hata huko Ikuu wanasema wanajenga factory kubwa ya kutengeza ya machimbaji ya matini, watengeze, wasaidie vijana.
Elsewhere, family in Malindi, Kilifi County is crying for help following the mysterious death of their daughter who had traveled to Saudi Arabia in March in search for a job. Dama Sofa, the mother to the deceased, says her daughter, Janet Fikiri, was first reported ill before she was pronounced dead on the 22nd of August this year. The family is now calling on the government to intervene. Andrin Kilemi with the details.
Mama Sofa's home is grieving. Friends and family have come together to mourn the death of the last-born daughter who died in unclear circumstances while working in Saudi Arabia, where she had traveled in search of greener pastures. Hello. Their faces full of agony, sadness and despair.
Toto wangu aliondoka mzima hapa, nikakavia hata wiki mbili, hata wiki ya tatu, wiki ya nne. Nikapiga simu, nikauliza huko, nataka majibu ya mtoto wangu, sikuipata.
According to the family, the agent who oversaw their kin travel to the Gulf country had been playing games on them ever since their daughter left the country in March this year. They say they were denied the opportunity to speak to her on phone.
Baada ya wiki mbili tulipouliza, je, alifika salama? Jibu tuliloambiwa yeye alipatwa na wenda wazimu. Na alipotoka hupo alikuwa hana wenda wazimu wala hakugua ugonjwa wowote. Na baadaye tukaambiwa kwamba yeye ameugua wenda wazimu. Sasa tukasema hata kama ameugua wenda wazimu basi mregesheni, kwa sababu hata hivyo kama ameugua wenda wazimu hataweza tena kufanya kazi, mregesheni. Agent akasema kwamba tupeni muda, tutamregesha. Tumengojea kutokea mwezi wa 3 mpaka sahi ni mwezi wa 9, hakuna majibu yoyote.
Janet was the last born in their family and had just finished her high school studies, but due to financial constraints could not join the university and thus opted to travel to Saudi Arabia in search of work. It is only until the 22nd of last month that her family received news of her untimely demise.
Kapiga simu tena, agent akasema kwamba basi dada yetu amefariki. Ndiyo, dada yetu amefariki, sasa tutampata vipi? Hakuna mwelekeo wowote tangu wakati huo mpaka sahi. Toto wake wanahuzunika, mama yake kufikia sahi ni mgonjwa. Dada yetu tunaomba serikali, akiwa yuko hai, akiwa amekufa, dada yetu tunaomba tusaidike ili apate kurudi nyumbani.
The family of the deceased is now calling upon the government to intervene as they seek to find justice. This comes barely a week after another victim, Diana Chepkemoi, was rescued and safely jetted back into the country, albeit a rising number of alleged mistreatment of Kenyans in the Gulf country. Andrin Kilemi, TV47.
Now, a non-governmental organization in Samburu County is helping sustain education in Samburu East by providing relief food to villages and schools that have been affected by drought for the last 3 years. The program has enabled a number of girls to remain in school. Our senior education affairs reporter Sharon Baranga now reports.
Remote village in Samburu East of Samburu County has been affected by drought that has lasted for more than 3 years. The situation has forced many people to move out of their homes in search of food, water and pasture for their livestock. The most affected are children, women and learners in schools.
As we speak now, the area is badly hit by drought. For the last 3 years, the area has not received any single drop of rain. And that has basically affected the education of children within remote. Like for example, the parents move away from school, they move away to other places to look for greener or better pastures and water for their animals. And in most cases, they leave their children behind with very few parents taking care of them.
A non-governmental organization known as Girl Pride International is helping keep girls in school by providing relief food to villages and schools that have been affected by drought.
However, the girl child has become more affected since when their parents move, most of them are left with the little ones to take care of them. And that has already affected the enrollment in the schools and also just caused the dropout.
We came with an initiative called Fight Hunger for Education. This one basically targets providing food to the school so that these girls can be retained in schools. The enrollment of the school can also be stable, and that's basically what we are now currently doing. The food that is here now is to provide to the community so that those parents left behind and with those kids from school will be able to cater for those kids. And also we provide also some amount of food to the school so that those who come to school will also be retained, because if food is not in school, we find that mostly the kids don't come to school.
Currently, the NGO is helping over 200 families. Sharon Baranga, TV47.
Now, the Mombasa County Assumption of Office Committee has said that all is set for the swearing-in ceremony of Mombasa Governor-elect Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir and his deputy Francis Thoya. The committee, which is chaired by Mombasa County Secretary Joab Tumbo, on Monday inspected the Mamangina Waterfront Park, where the event is scheduled to take place on Thursday. While addressing the media, Tumbo said all 47 county governors with their deputies and county public service boards will be in Mombasa beginning Thursday for a week-long induction workshop and have been invited to attend the swearing-in ceremony.
This event we look forward to as being one of the biggest in the country, not in terms of expenditure, but in terms of output. Because again, during that same time, we'll have a number of delegations in the country, in the county of Mombasa. All the governors and deputies will be here for an induction. All the public service boards are also going to be here. And of course, the entire Mombasa will be attending this very wonderful occasion on the 15th from 8 o'clock in the morning to 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So apart from the nitty-gritties that I'll ask my colleagues to also talk about, we want to take this opportunity to invite watu wote wa Mombasa na hata wa Kenya ambao wanaweza kufika hapa wapate kujionea ni mambo gani ambayo yanafanyika Mombasa katika hali ya kumwapisha gavana mpya anayeingia Mheshimiwa Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir na naibu wake. Ili ndio sasa serikali yetu itengenezwe upya, tuanze kazi ya kuhudumia wakazi wa Mombasa. Kwa hivyo karibuni sana, nitamwalika mwenzangu pia county commissioner na chairman wa subcommittees wale ambao tuko nazo pia waangazie mawili matatu mpate kufahamu kwamba ni mambo gani ambayo tunafanya hapa leo. Karibu sisi.
Today we are having one of our meetings. We started our meetings around July, the beginning of July, because we had expected the election to be on 8th of August. So as part of the inauguration subcommittee, we are tasked with having the event in a place that wananchi can come. So we chose Mamangina.
Elsewhere, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Court has this evening arrested Mr. Daniel Omido, a senior officer working with the Nairobi Metropolitan Services, as an administrative officer, allegedly for demanding a bribe of 400,000 in order to approve an online application relating to the testing and issuance of certificates to food handlers within the Nairobi metropolitan area. The suspect was arrested at Uchumi House building after he allegedly corruptly received part of the demanded bribe amounting to 200,000 shillings. Our very own Willie Dennis Njiru reports on these and other stories from the corridors of justice.
EACC has this evening arrested Mr. Daniel Omido of Nairobi Metropolitan Services NMS for demanding 400,000 shillings bribe from a citizen in order to approve an online application in the service portal. He has been escorted to the EACC Integrity Center police station for processing. Meanwhile, an EACC investigating officer has told the court that they seized various transaction documents from former Samburu governor Moses Kasaen Lenokulal's home in Karen and Samburu in a bid to prove the loss of 84 million public funds from the county. Joel Kisa, while testifying before Milimani Anti-Corruption Chief Magistrate Thomas Nzioka, said that they did a simultaneous search and documents seized at Lenokulal's home revealed that the former governor made various transactions to different beneficiaries for various purposes. The five faced charges of conspiracy to commit an offense, willful failure to comply with the law relating to management of public funds, misappropriation of public funds under Public Finance Management Act 2012, and abuse of office. The EACC recommended the charges of irregular diverting over 205 million shillings by court officials to various county government courts. The EACC recommended the charges of irregular diverting over 205 million shillings by county officials to various county government accounts. Elsewhere, Mombasa County Governor-elect Abdul Somad Sharif Nasir has called on governors in the country to address employees' welfare to ensure seamless service delivery. Nasir made the remarks during a public service capacity building forum that brought together public service officials here to evaluate their capacities on matters of human resources in the counties.
We expect that our manifestos, our ideas, our focus, our service delivery to the great people of Mombasa, and I'm sure this applies to the different governors as well in every part of the country. We expect those to be driven, the engine to be fueled by none other than the employees. So we need to have a direct focus, that this is the direction that we all intend and should be able to take.
For TV47, I'm Willie Dennis Njiru.
Thank you, Willie Dennis Njiru, for that report. Elsewhere, Kandara Member of Parliament Alice Wahome now says she is ready to work in Deputy President William Ruto's government as a cabinet secretary. While speaking during the commissioning of the newly constructed Kandara Division headquarters in Kandara, Wahome said it is the prerogative of the president to select his cabinet, but will serve under him if given the opportunity. A section of leaders from Murang'a County who had accompanied Wahome have asked the president-elect to consider having 2 cabinet secretaries from Murang'a County. According to Murang'a Senator Joe Nyutu, Wahome is tested and proven leader who has been a staunch supporter of William Ruto, giving her the required experience to work as a cabinet secretary.
Majority of votes were for William Samoei Ruto, and therefore swallow the bitterness and start working for the people of Kisumu and Kenyans.
Mimi, I know Mheshimiwa Alice. When it comes to academic credentials, she got them. When it comes to experience, she's an experienced MP with 2 terms. She's known to be a woman of high morals and integrity, and a woman who speaks the truth when it is necessary to speak, and even when it is unnecessary for some people who think it's unnecessary. So I would urge the president or request him. She has done a lot for this government that is coming in tomorrow. She is the one who knows the vision of the Kenya Kwanza when it comes to Murang'a County. We would be more than honored to have her. Given a position to have 2 cabinet secretaries, we would mind our brother Honorable Dende Nyoro or any other competent person from Murang'a County. If it comes to credibility and competence, I can fairly say that Honorable Alice scores 100%.
Ama ni uamuzi, utakuwa ni uamuzi wa rais kama ni nani atafanya waziri katika baraza lake, lakini sisi kama watu wa Murang'a na kama watu waliochaguliwa na watu wa Murang'a, mimi kama seneta wa Murang'a ningesema kwamba sisi kama watu wa Murang'a na ambao tulimpigia rais kura kwa wingi, sisi tungefurahi. Tunaweza kufurahia sana tukipata Mheshimiwa Alice Muthoni Wahome akiwa katika baraza la mawaziri.
From Murang'a, let's get to the United Kingdom, and King Charles III has told Parliament that he will follow the example set by his mother, the late Queen Elizabeth, in leading the people. While addressing lawmakers and peers in what he described as, quote, the living and breathing instrument of our democracy, Charles used his address to the upper and lower houses of Parliament to pay tribute to his mother and pledged to uphold the principle of constitutional government.
As I stand before you today, I cannot help but feel the weight of history which surrounds us and which reminds us of the vital parliamentary traditions to which members of both houses dedicate yourselves with such personal commitment for the betterment of us all. Parliament is the living and breathing instrument of our democracy. That your traditions are ancient, we see in the construction of this great hall. We gather today in remembrance of the remarkable span of the Queen's dedicated service to her nations and peoples. While very young, Her late Majesty pledged herself to serve her country and her people, and to maintain the precious principles of constitutional government which lie at the heart of our nation.
Let's count the costs and get to the world of business now. And Equity Bank has today signed an asset and liabilities purchase agreement with Spire Bank Limited for the purchase of certain assets and liabilities of the bank. The transaction is anchored on Equity's plan to support the recovery of the economy post-COVID-19. In the audited half-year financial report, as of June 2022, Spire Bank reported total customer deposit and liabilities of 1.938 billion shillings and net loan and advances to customers of 1.745 billion shillings, together with additional statutory loss reserves of 800 million shillings that reduce the net loan and advance after applying the loans loss provision of 945 million shillings.
You are watching TV47. Disability is not only limited to physical disorder, but also mental issue. From depression,
I was under depression for like 2 years.
bipolar,
Bipolar disorder is a mood disorder.
and even suicidal thoughts.
When I was just about to hang myself, a certain voice just talked to me, and I believe that was God. I tried suicide more than 6 times.
Beyond the Limit has gone beyond its limit to find answers so as to help everyone go through life with ease. Join Muthoni Maina every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Starting this September at 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday, the Realtor brings it all to perspective. We identify a property, discuss and demonstrate the journey towards ownership.
Professionals who have integrity, and from their catalog you can easily read that these are professionals who are able to deliver.
Everywhere you go, you have to up your games, you have to go with the trends.
Not forgetting the margins as well as the risks that come along.
The runaway prices of the land. We are saying that it's something that we can never go without mentioning. Any developer will not go without mentioning price of land.
Don't miss out. Do you want the latest news on farming? We've got the WikiLeaks for you. Get it? No? Well, okay. Every week, we give you insights on different farms, from crop farming to animal keeping.
They're very hardy insects, yeah? The larvae is a very hardy insect.
We look forward to having an optimum production in maybe about 5 years. Yes. Yeah.
So we plant every week and we harvest every week.
Join Violet Njoki every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. as we skooma the wiki.
It's not all the time you have to read your farm. Sometimes it's of benefit.
Starting this September at 8:30 p.m.
Hi and welcome to The Grind. My name is Violet Njoki.
we continue to provide the platform that aims to inform and educate on business-related matter. We are here to ask all the relevant questions on your behalf.
When it comes to a catering business, do you need licenses?
Yeah, a lot of it.
And inform you what is happening in the business arena. Be sure to stay tuned.
All week, you look forward to the weekend. And we are here to help you make the most of it. Catch me, Karen Karini, on Fridays. And with me, Muthoni Maina, on the weekend.
Disability is not only limited to physical disorder but also mental issue. From depression,
I was under depression for like 2 years.
Bipolar.
Bipolar disorder is a mood disorder.
And even suicidal thoughts.
When I was just about to hang myself, a certain voice just talked to me, and I believe that was God. I tried suicide more than 6 times.
Beyond the Limit has gone beyond its limit to find answers so as to help everyone go through life with ease.